Now on to sports. First on to Los Angeles, where USC has fired head football coach Steve Sarkisian.
With Gary Klein, I'm Lindsay Theory for the Los Angeles Times. We're on the campus of USC, where USC has officially announced that Steve Sarkisian has been terminated of his duties. A very fast developing story, given that it was about 24 hours ago, Gary, that he didn't show up for practice.
USC moved very swiftly on this, Lindsay. After the original incident, after the salute to Troy, USC criticized, I think, maybe, for not pulling Steve out, for getting him some treatment for some of his personal issues. He had a misstep, obviously, on Sunday, and they terminated him today.
As it has gone today, athletic officials have been in separate meetings. We have seen them milling about Heritage Hall and the John McKay Center. One athletic official telling me that he had just met with assistant coaches, did not even realize the news had been released to the media. That is how fast this is all happening.
Right. I saw Clay Helton this morning with a USC athletic official heading up to Pat Hayden's office suite. So obviously some things have been in the works. The players are walking around campus. Many of them are surprised, but they seem to be ready to move on.
A couple of players told me that Steve Sarkisian needs to handle his business, get himself better. Meanwhile, they're going to have to turn their focus back to the field. Gary, I know you spoke with a few players as well.
They've got a game against Notre Dame coming up. They've said that they're going to call on the experience of the older players who have been through this before, when Lane Kiffin was fired, when Ed Ogeron left the program, when Clay Helton took over before the Las Vegas Bowl in 2013. So if there's a silver lining to this for the team, they have guys that have been through this before.
For the latest updates on the Steve Sarkisian situation at USC and where the Trojans go from here, be sure to keep it on the Los Angeles Times.
We often glorify the lives of athletes and coaches in the sport industry. However, we don't always consider what their lives actually entail. Those in the sports world have stress and anxiety in their lives, and many are extremely sensitive to the pressures of the athletic industry and constant public scrutiny. Too often, athletes and coaches are unable to find healthy ways to cope with those pressures and instead turn to PEDs, recreational drugs, and/or alcohol. Even the most elite athletes and successful coaches struggle at times. We are even starting to witness more athletes and coaches alike openly discuss the ongoing battles with substance abuse, alcoholism, and mental illnesses such as depression or anxiety. We've all heard the tragic stories about athletes such as Josh Hamilton, Lance Armstrong, CeCe Sabathia, and Johnny Manziel. However, most recently, the spotlight has been on USC's now former head football coach, Steve Sarkisian. In today's college coaching business, coaches feel a constant level of stress to have their team performing at a high level. The reason coaches are paid millions is because the marketing and financial benefit schools get from successful sports teams. The pressure to win at a school like USC can turn up quickly if your team is not winning. This is a tough situation for all parts involved: Steve Sarkisian, the players, assistants, athletic department, and school as a whole. The situation will shine a light on the role coaches play as leaders and educators to young men. Coaches are seen as mentors and often parents when kids arrive on campus. They are supposed to play vital roles in developing athletes into responsible, respectful, hardworking, and well-educated adults. While the wins are great and important, coaches find it most rewarding when they see their players succeeding beyond their sport as a result of the leadership and guidance they received. This should hold as a reminder to the role coaches play and the necessity they play for young adults. As the story continues to unfold and the pieces are put back together, we hope that Steve Sarkisian will be able to gain support in his treatment. Everyone involved can take different philosophies to the current situation, but the main goal is for him to get healthy for himself and his family. It is positive to see current and former players reach out and wish him well on his road to recovery. Receiving support will be an important factor in this process. Alcoholism is a serious disease and is not one to be taken lightly. It is absolutely necessary to take this time for himself and for him to focus on his recovery.